Yes, before moving with the balance part of the strategic implementation process, we just have to give the like assignment. The one of the assignments, I think Samaram is also giving another assignment for you all. For my case, I am giving an assignment and I also upload it in a Word document for you all. For that, then you all can refer to that and give a particular report. It's a report writing. So the question or the main concern in that sense, the assignment based on whatever the strategic management issue or else strategic management concern of the particular organization, actual scenario, then how that particular situation is analyzed based on our strategic management model. In here the strategic management model, in the sense you all have to follow up all the steps until it has been go for the implementation. Therefore, once you are selecting the particular strategic management concern or the scenario, you all have to make sure it has been now going to on at the implementation stage. Understood? If it is not just start, it might not be workable for the assignment purpose. Therefore, it should be the particular scenario or the situation or the issue. It has to be go and until up to the implementation stage of the particular company. Because you all have to identify, you all have to analyze all the 4 steps in this strategic management model. As we discussed, the first one, environmental analysis, then the formulation, and also under the formulation also you all have to identify the which level, how the corporate level it might be linked with, and then the business level. Likewise, all the levels you all have to take into consideration. Therefore, that particular scenario should be now at the implementation stage of the particular company. Okay, so going to be case is not valid for the assignment purpose. Therefore, it has to be at the implementation level in that particular organization. Anyway, I will give all the guidelines via LMS, but just to ready that, now you all can ready with the identification of particular strategic management scenario or the issue of particular company. Then you all have to analyze that particular scenario or the issue based on strategic management model. I'll put into LMS, then you all can refer to that. And the deadline, as per the student's request, physical student I just raised, then the deadline is the last week of the semester, probably second week of March, hopefully second week of March. Okay, that is regarding the assignment. Hopefully there might be another assignment. I think Thamara Miss will inform you all. Okay, come back to the session. I think there might be balance part of the strategic implementation part what we discussed on the week before. What I do is, then I just brief about the balanced PowerPoint slides in the strategic implementation. Then I move with this case study given. Because case study is important, as I mentioned at the beginning. Definitely there will be a case study for the first question in the examination point of view. Okay. I hope we discussed this. Yes, where did we stop? I think. Yes, where are we now in the strategy implementation process? I told you once we are going with this implementation, we directly deal with the organizational employees because they are the one who carried out the implementation, in the sense what we have stipulated under our strategy formulation stage, mission, objectives, strategies and policies. Now we have at this implementation, we have to get them operate. All the strategies, mission, we have to get them operate at the implementation level. So once we are going to implement, then the problems are coming. Definitely there might be problems within the organizational setting and maybe the outside. As we discussed, yes, sometimes we might not be planned, unanticipated problems may coming. The staff, the poorly defined staff and the incompetent leadership. The leadership is also paramount important once we are going to the implementation level. Because we have to get the work done from our employees. So once we are going to implement particular mission, then we have to get them done from our employees, existing level of companies, no? Existing companies. Therefore, we have to make sure good leadership is there. So these some kind of problems which might be coming with this implementation stage. Therefore, when it's come to the stage of implementation, mainly we have to, as strategic managers viewpoint, we need to concern about the staffing requirements, okay, and also the leadership. And also with these two aspects, we have to think on the company's culture. So in the implementation process, these things are very much important. But about the staffing requirement, in the sense what we discussed, sometimes, as I mentioned, if we are going with the ERP software, the existing staff is not competent, then we might have to hire new employees from outside. Therefore, staffing requirements and also the leadership. Yes, as we mentioned, when it comes to staffing, we discussed. What do you mean staffing here? Yes? Yes, the implementation of new strategies and policies often calls for new human resource management priorities and a different use of personnel. Such staffing issues can involve hiring new people with new skills. As I mentioned, existing employees are not competent enough to go with this new strategy, with this new change. Then what we have to do as managers, we have to recruit new staff from outside, or else firing people with inappropriate skills. That means if we think that these people are not good enough to do this particular task, we have to get them away. Maybe the VRS scheme, voluntary retirement scheme. Understood? Then another point is training existing employees, as we discussed. If they are going for the ERP, then we have to get them training on that. Therefore, these staffing considerations important in this strategy implementation process. I think we discussed this part as well, leadership. The leadership is also a must. Under good governance, you all experience, if the leader works, only the others also working, no? Like that in an organization also same. If the leader is not working, they might be the followers also follow the role of the leadership. That is the way. Therefore, once we are going to implement particular strategy, the leadership is very important. I think we discussed about this culture, the corporate culture compatibility. That is a question we discussed at the beginning. Here the last point. There is no one best corporate culture and optimal culture. Yes, can you all remember I told you? We can't say this ABC culture is good. That is the best culture. But we have to think about whether this particular strategy can compatible or else align with the existing company settings. That means if there are more rejections are coming, we might not be able to go ahead as managers. Understood? Therefore, we have to think about to what extent we can get the compatibility or else matching with these two aspects, culture and our new strategy. Understood? That is what we discuss under question. Yes, then another point is managing cultural change through communication. I think we stopped at that point on the last week. Before last week, sorry. Yes. I told you when it's come to something new or else going with this implementation, the communication is very important. Because employees are not aware about the facts, then there might be more rejections, more conflicts. Definitely they might be come up with labor unions opposing for the particular new thing, new changes. Understood? Therefore, when it's come to this particular change or something cultural change, what the company can do is to minimize those conflicts or the resentment, they can go for the proper communication system. Okay? What here communication means? Communication is communication is key to effective management of change. That means once we are going with this particular management change or the new strategy, communication is a must. Okay. Rationale for strategic changes should be communicated to workers not only in newsletters and speeches but also in training and development programs. Although we say blah 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 in a newsletter, in writing it might not be workable. Sometimes we have to get them the hands-on experience. Then only they might be aware about that real scenarios. Understood? Therefore, it might be very important, although we might be making speech or giving a letter about these new changes, it is not adequate. Definitely, as managers or the as strategic managers viewpoint, they have to involve with this training, etc. Yes, when it's come to like this is the scenario. Second point, following are some common characteristics companies in which major cultural changes have successfully implemented. That means if we have to implement it in a successful manner, what can we do? What are the common characteristics out of that? That means when it's come to, for an example, vision, mission, those things, sometimes those things are in writing. There may be a corporate plan, but every employees are reading this particular corporate plan, so-called corporate plan. Are you all reading BOC corporate plan? No, you all are not going to do so. Then what can the managers can do? Although they have stipulated in the particular vision, mission in their documentary evidences, it might not be workable. Therefore, whatever these strategic vision, mission changes, we have to communicate to our employees. Okay. So, how do we do so? Probably CEOs, they might be knowing these facts. CEO and other top managers had a strategic vision of what the company could become and communicated that vision to employees at all levels. For an example, what they can do, this particular vision they can jot down into KPIs, key performance indicators. Understood what I am telling? Although like key performance indicators in the sense, although we might be mentioned this is the vision, but it is not workable. Therefore, what we can do is particular vision can be classified like a performance measurement system. Assuming if we have stipulated our vision to be the best bank in the local and global arena. So, to be the best bank, it might not be workable if we doesn't involve with any KPIs, key performance indicators. So, how do we do so? How do we go for the best bank? To go for that, there might be key performance indicators. So, this much of key performance indicators in the sense that particular vision need to be translated into KPIs or key performance indicators. For an example, we can say, yes, as she mentioned, now they are going with the deposit machines in the BOC. Now already done. So, in that situation, what we can do? The deposit machines of BOC, yes. Then we can make sure that the number of branches that they are going to implement. We can measure the performance of particular branch manager. If they are going to go with that as a branch network, then we can assess the performance based on whether they have gone with this particular deposit machine in that the ATM facility for that particular bank. So, measuring the performance based on that particular scenario. Otherwise, people might not work because they don't know. The company or the head office might be having a vision like the BOC head office might be, yes, how many branches you all have to go with the deposit machines. Are you working head office, no? No. Yes, like they might be having particular target, like vision. But it has to be coming to operate, we have to communicate those things to branch managers. Then we can say that your performance will be adhered or the performance will be measuring based on the these characteristics or these areas. So, otherwise people may not work. We can't get the work done very easily from employees. They are the one who are very critical, no? As you all know, as we experience, very difficult with the getting work done. Therefore, in order to get the work done, what we can do is, we can stipulate whatever the vision, mission, etc. and we can translate those into KPIs, key performance indicators. Maybe the salary might be depend on their performance, or salary increments will be depend on the level of performance of the branch manager. So, likewise, we can translate that particular vision into key performance indicators or as KPIs. If we are communicating those things to our employees, maybe it has been mentioned, example as, are you clear with that? The first point is, if we have to go with these major cultural changes, to do that as in a successful implementation stage, these characteristics are important. The first one is The CEO and other top managers had a strategic vision of what the company could become, and those things need to be communicated to all the employees. Okay, and also the vision was translated into the key element necessary to accomplish that vision. It means that particular vision has to be translated into KPIs, key performance indicators. Understood what I am telling? That means, for an example, assuming it is a garment industry, they might be having standard minute value for the measure of performance. For an example, assuming touching or fixing buttons, they have a given time period. Assuming a particular garment, assuming shirt, so in order to fixing buttons of that particular shirt, they are giving a particular time period, SMB, standard minute values. So then only we can measure the performance of that particular employee. Then definitely we can go for the target, like yes, we are going to go with the bulk amount of sewing t-shirts around 1000. The vision has to be translated into whatever the KPIs, key performance indicators. Then only we can get the work done from employees. Clear? So that is, it is highlighting those things we have to communicate. It is highlighting whatever the cultural change we have to communicate in advance in a very systematic manner. Here the example, to become a leader in quality or service, appropriate measurement system should develop for aspects of quality or service. Yes, that means, for an example, we are telling that we are the leader of the quality. Assuming garment industry, so we can say this ABC company going to become a leader in their quality levels. But just telling that, or just telling as a vision, so-called vision, it might not be workable. To become it workable, we have to translate that particular vision into, here it has been mentioned, accomplishment of measures should communicate maybe formal and informal recognition or else monetary rewards. Assuming we are giving a target for one particular employee, we are giving, you all have to sew the particular garment, 100 garments within a particular day. So after, if that particular employee has achieved that, then we can introduce some kind of a recognition, maybe in the monetary manner or else non-monetary manner. Understood? So that is the way we have to get them aware and get them work done. So that is what we call here the communication of particular cultural change. As I mentioned, if they don't know, they might not be working. Vision එක අපි මේක කියලා කිව්වට ඒක අපි මිනිස්සු දන්නේ නැත්නම් they might not be working towards that particular vision. Then we have to get them aware and we have to get it done, like introducing KPIs or some other performance measurements. Understood? Yes, you can read this acquisition 2 PowerPoint. You can read it and understand, huh? Because I want to do the case study today. Yes, another important thing is MBO. You might have heard this. The management by objectives. Another techniques that companies are adapting once they are going with these strategic changes. Management by objectives. Have you heard about this? Yes? Under management? Not at the master's level. What do you mean by that? Management by objectives? That means actually this is some kind of participative decision making style. That means, you all can read this, the MBO is a technique that encourages participative decision making through shared goal setting and all organizational levels and performance assessment based on the achievement of stated objectives. What does it mean? It is not the autocratic leadership style. If the leader is getting all the decisions, then the followers might not be aware. But in the MBO method, we call MBO, in the MBO method, it is very participative decision making style. What they are doing, they are very assuming there may be 2 persons called boss and supervisor. So both persons are engaged, then they might be stipulate with the goals. For an example, boss will be telling whether this particular goal is achievable or not for you as a supervisor. Understood? Therefore, boss and the supervisor have good communication and good relationship, then only they are set up objectives or the goals. That is what we call MBO method. Here, the participative decision making through shared goal setting and all organizational levels and performance assessment based on the achievement of stated objectives. What does it mean? Like as we discussed KPIs, if you are set up the KPIs as have a combination or has communication with boss and the subordinate. We have a mutual relationship once we are going to set up with these particular objectives. And also in the meantime, we are measuring the performance also based on these objectives. Understood what I am telling? That means in here very participative decision making style. That means we are combining, for an example, assuming boss and subordinate, then boss and subordinate get together and make the objectives. Because otherwise they might be, if we are assigning particular objective or the goal, may not be attainable to that particular employee. Understood? Therefore, MBO is very participative decision making style, having very good sharing with the goal setting between the boss and subordinate, between the parties. Here I will tell you the example, then you can get to know that. Here you can look, MBO is powerful implementation technique which links organizational objectives and the behavior of individuals. Assuming particular employees there, that particular employee is working very slowly. Then we can say that even though you are working slowly, whatever the performance assessment is going on the speed of working. If you have not gone to the target of 10, as we given the target as 10 particular item, 10 manufacturing of items, if you are not going to go with these 10 items per day, then you might not be able to get the performance assessment, performance bonuses. So likewise we can get them aware, because that is what they here MBO is a implementation technique which links organizational objectives and the behavior of individuals. Based on individual we can decide what we can do. Understood? It is very participative decision making style. I will tell you the steps. The first one is, these are the process of MBO method. The first one is establishing and communicating organizational objectives. That means first of all what we are doing, we just communicate the employees, these are the organizational objectives or the goals. Thereby, as I mentioned, this is the vision of the assuming organization objective is to increase profitability. Increase profitability by 20% at the end of the particular first quarter of the year 2017. So that is one of the objective of the organization. So this particular objective we have to communicate to the employees. What we can do is, we can do that particular organizational objective can translate into the individual objectives. Therefore, based on the increase of profitability by particular ABC unit at the end of the first quarter of 2017, that is organizational objective. This organizational objective we can translate into individual objective. For an example, we can say the employees of the ABC unit, they have the individual targets given to reach with the organizational objective of increased profitability by 20%. Understood? So, organizational objectives can be able to translate it into individual objectives. Here, make sure that through superior and subordinate interaction, sometimes even though we are giving the targets to the employees, but those are not attainable. But it might not be workable based on the capacity and based on the time limits, and all those things are considered under this. So in that situation, in this MBO method, it is very participative manner. The superior and the subordinate have the good interaction. Thereby they might be stipulate the individual objectives. Got the point? Accordingly, the developing action plan of that means action plan we have to develop. How do we make sure that particular objective has achieved? Maybe the performance assessment. අපි කියනවා ඔයා අද දවසට 1000ක් item නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්න ඕනේ කියන. That is the performance assessment that we are doing. Whether that particular employee has achieved or not, we might be measuring towards from the performance assessment scheme. So likewise, that is what coming under this. Yes, periodically, at least quarterly, we have to measure the performance as it relates to the objectives of people and including the results in the annual performance appraisal. Therefore, once we are coming to the performance appraisal, we are taken into consideration whether this particular employee have achieved the given target or not. Understood? That is what we call MBO method. Management by objectives. In simple terms, what we are doing, we just communicate organizational objectives at the beginning. Then we translate these organizational objectives into individual objectives, having very good rapport with the superior and the subordinate. Okay. Then what we can do is, periodically we are reviewing the performance of that particular employee based on this target given and what they have achieved, the results achieved. So we are comparing those things and giving the performance assessment. Clear? That is what we call MBO method, management by objectives. So this is important in the sense, otherwise people might be thinking, everything is very transparent. No one can tell this person is getting this performance, I am getting rating like C, this is rating A. We can't say like that because all the things are transparent in advance. Understood? That is what we call MBO method. Yes, question is given. Try to attempt. Explain the benefits that can enjoy in the MBO technique to an organization. What kind of benefits are there? Yes? Yes, online student, you all can make an attempt to give an answer. Yes, advantages of MBO. This is one of the implementation technique. What we can do? Yes, what we can say? What is the advantage? Yes, participative decision making style. Oh, can achieve the targets. Yes, true. Other than that, in the management viewpoint, strategic managers viewpoint. Yes, workers will motivate to achieve the targets. Yes, good. Yes, best planning. That means in advance we can plan. Actually, what is the most important real benefit out of this MBO process is, we can reduce the amount of internal politics working around. You all know what you mean by internal politics? Yes? In an organizational perspective? What? That means, what do you mean by internal politics? It might be going different forms. Yes? Based on the favorizations, we might be giving the performance assessment. So those things we can get rid of. Yes, best planning mechanism. Yes, that means what we can do, we can eliminate these unnecessary or reduce the amount of internal politics working around the organization. Therefore, the boss can't decide, this person is good. So it is very transparent. If that particular person is achieved the performance, that particular employee has to visualize. Yes, I have achieved this target of 100 like 100 items manufactured within that particular day. That is my target. Yes, I have achieved this much. Understood? Therefore, we can't say that we can, like, we try our best to minimize our internal politics working within the organization settings, like biasness, favorations. Like, boss can't say yes, this person is working well, but it is clear cut. That person is worked well. It has to be visualized based on the number of items that manufactured. Understood? The given target achieved or not. So those things are very transparent. Therefore, we can reduce the internal politics working within the organizational settings. Otherwise, what will happen? The internal conflicts may be there. Like, they might be having comparison. Person A call, yeah, this person has get good promotions, but I don't. So these things are like, it is coming at the favoration and those things. But if everything is transparent, we can visualize that no, yes, we have given the promotion to a particular candidate A due to the fact that he has achieved this much of targets. Understood? It is very transparent to all the employees. Then they can't demarcate like this, the favorations are going, the biasness, it might be get rid of. Therefore, MBO is like, it might, real benefit is we can reduce this internal politics working around. Okay. Another one is TQM. I think you all might have familiar with this. Total quality management. Yes? Yes, under total quality management, what we might be focused towards, just quickly do, 12 we have to finish, is that 12, no? Okay. TQM is what? TQM more or less focused towards the customer satisfaction. We call total quality management. This is also an operational philosophy which is coming under strategy implementation process. But in here, TQM is focused towards the customer satisfaction and the continuous improvement, continuous process improvements. In our process, it might be having continuous improvements. And also, as employees' point of view, they might be more concerned about this satisfaction of the customer. That is what more focused towards under TQM method. Under total quality management, we might be having very good commitment to make sure the customers are satisfied in our organization, and also we are doing continuous improvement to our process. Maybe the manufacturing process, we are just like do continuous improvement. For an example, previously we assume in garment industry, they don't have like lathe machines, they just do just a manual cutting. But with this new introduction, now they have machines to do all the cuttings. All the cuttings are doing based on machines. So that means we are doing continuous improvement towards the process. That is what we call total quality management. We make sure, for an example, assuming the defects are more, then we try our best to minimize the number of defects of our machines or the process. So likewise, in the TQM method, the company management might be thinking about the satisfaction of customers and also to do continuous or the at a stretch improvements to our process. Got the point? That is what we call total quality management. I just brief about that because I just want to have a in the meantime I just want to look into the case study as well. The TQM has 4 objectives. The first one, just have to look, the better, less variable quality of the product and service. What does it mean? Yes, less variable quality of the product and service. Assuming we are producing items, assuming manufacturing, we are as a company manufacturing process, so we are manufacture some items. So when it's come to these items, those should be identical one item to the other or equal one item to the other. Otherwise, what will happen? The customer complaints may come. They might be telling that yes, this product is good, but when it's come to this, it's not good. Understood? But in the TQM, we try our best to go with this high quality or the best quality. Then we try our best to go less variable quality of the product and service. That means we are maintaining in a good manner. Yes. Yes, good. No significant differences. That means identically each item should be at the same level of the quality. Otherwise what will happen? The one item is having good like operationalize is good, but other item having more problems. So under the TQM we try our best to go with this less number of defects or the less number of variable quality. That means item to item it might not be vary the quality wise. Then less variable response to customer needs. That means we are giving very quick response to the need of the customer. For example, customer is asking about, yes, this item is not workable within this warranty period. Then we are getting the, like, as a customer response, we quickly address to that customer. No worries, within this period, warranty period is in, then we are doing the repair or the maintenance activity. Understood? So that is the second point. Quicker, less variable response in process to customer needs. Then greater flexibility in adjusting to customer requirements. Yes, that means under this TQM process we are very flexible to the requirements of the customer. The last one, the lower cost through quality improvement and elimination of non-value adding work. Because that is our intention under TQM. Because as we mentioned, under TQM our focus is to continuous improvement in our production processes. Okay. Therefore, if we think that that particular activity is no value to our this process, then we just ignore it. We just eliminate that one. Understood? Assuming if you think that particular activity, assuming maybe packing, you think that no, the ironing department they can manage with the packing as well. Then we don't want another separate function called packaging. Then what we can do is we can eliminate that particular function. Okay. Then what we are doing for the ironing department, we are asking, yes, you all can do this, then you all be part of that. Unnecessary, if you think that that particular activity is not necessary to the process, we can eliminate. Because we try our best to go for the continuous improvement of our process. Understood? So that is, these are the 4 steps of this, or the 4 objectives of this TQM process. Okay. So we learn about MBO, management by objectives, and the TQM. Here's one more important thing under the TQM. TQM emphasizes prevention, not correction. What does it mean? Yes, TQM emphasizes prevention, not correction. What does it mean? Prevention is something that we are doing beforehand. Okay? Preventing the things, no? We have to prevent the things what is happening. For an example, defects. The number of defects we have to prevent in advance. The correction in the sense, after that has happened, we have to correct at the beginning. Therefore, the TQM mainly focus about prevention, not the correction. In advance, we know, yes, we have to do the continuous improvement. We try our best to maintain all the items in an identical manner. So, number of defects are very less. Understood? Therefore, all the things are going in line in the TQM. Emphasis of the prevention, not the correction. And also it is highlighting that the employee, yes, when it comes to the TQM process, the top management involvement should be must. And also employee training, empowerment of lower level employees and teamwork in order to succeed in a company. What do you mean by employee empowerment? Here? TQM to be success, there should be the strong management involvement, the top management commitment. Other than that, we should empower of lower level employees and teamwork in order to succeed in a company. What do you mean by empowerment? Yes? What can you say? Empowerment? We have to disseminate the power from only the top level to the lower level as well. It is not autocratic, democratic leadership style. That means we are giving the power to the employees to get the decisions. Yes? Yes, good. Decentralized decision making style. What we call the democratic style. If the autocratic style is all the decisions are centralized. But under the TQM process, we giving the employees power, the decentralized decision making style. Then they can make some decisions accordingly with the process. Otherwise, what will happen? For an example, if the quality defect or the defect is coming in the process, then at that point of time they can take the particular decision. Otherwise, what they have to do is they have to wait for the technicians are coming, and it will take more time. Then what they can do is, under TQM, we educate all the employees how to get rid of particular situation happens. If the defect is coming or something like malfunctioning of a particular machine, they know how to do is. That is what empowerment of the particular employee. We are giving the power. No need to call for the technician. You can do it on yourself if you know that fact. Understood? That is what we call empowerment, having the power to the employees to make decisions. Okay, these are some concerns of the TQM. You all can read and understand. Okay, shall we move with the case study? With that I finish the implementation part. Have you all read? I asked you to read and come for the today's session. Yes, you all can refer to the case study which I have given on the before last week about strategic change. This one. HBR article, Harvard Business Review article. Actually, this is an article again from the Harvard Business Review. This case study based on this, the strategic change happened in the particular company. So, what kind of issues that they are facing and the things that they have highlighted in the case study given. Actually, you should read this case study, because this kind of case study, not merely this one, similar to this case study will be coming to as the first question in the examination point of view. This is merely focus about this particular Harvard Business Review article, mainly focus about particular company scenario. That means they are going to go with this strategic change, then what kind of problems that they have to face. I told you to read. I don't know whether you have read it or not. I just summarize. Yes, have you all opened? Can? Yes, what is the case study is being? That means company is going to do something change. Strategic changes happen, like what we learn under implementation process. Because what do you mean by here strategic change? In the sense, once we are going with this particular vision, mission, something new, it is a strategic change. It is long-term change which is going to happen. An example, as we discuss a vision, once we are going to the achieving of particular vision, it is long-term manner. The long-term future, it will be affecting to the long term future. In this scenario also same, the title that strategies for change. Just read about the first few things. I will just brief about the things. Go for the 132, page number 132. Here, once we are going with these strategic changes, you all can see in this one, page 132, the second para. They have highlighted that once they are going with these strategic changes, the problems that they have encountered. Here, the implementation problems that they face. Page 132, second para. And second line, most efforts encounter problems. They often take longer than expected and desired. They sometimes kill morale, and they often cost a great deal in terms of managerial time or emotional upheaval. That means these things are highlighted about once they are going with this particular strategic change, then they might have faced problems. As we discussed under the implementation, it is not easy for us to do this implementation process. Okay, not like just formulation. Formulation in the sense we just stipulate the strategies. But when it's come to implementation, we have to get the work done from the employees. Therefore, these are the problems that they have encountered in this strategic change. And also go for the third line or the third para. In this article, in same page, in this article, we first describe various causes for resistance to change. What does it mean? I told you, once we are going with this particular strategic change, it is not easily acceptable by the employees, because they think that this is out of my comfort zone. Okay, it is not easily get the work done from the employees with this strategic change. Therefore, the resistance is, we have to have an acceptance about the resistance, because they are not willingly accept this particular change. Got the point? Yes, understood, no? Then that is one. In the article is highlighting firstly what kind of causes for resistance to change, what kind of reasons that they are rejecting this particular change. And also the article is highlighting systematic way to select a strategy. So based on this resistance, then how do we go with another strategy, and set of specific approaches for implementing an organizational change effort. What does it mean? Yes, what kind of approaches that we can do to implement this particular organizational change efforts. Firstly, they are highlighting about the reasons for this resistance. Why do people resist? Understood? With this strategic change, why they are rejecting or why they are make resistance. Then they are highlighting in that scenario, yes, what kind of strategy that they can go ahead with that. And lastly, set of specific approaches to implement an organizational change effort. That means if you are going with this organizational change effort, what kind of approaches that we can take into consideration. For example, we learn about MBO, management by objectives, or else TQM approach. The MBO is mainly the participative manner. Okay, that means whatever the change that we are going to do, we firstly identify at the organizational level. Then those are translated into the individual level objectives. So it's something like that. Therefore, we have, in the case it is highlighting what kind of approach that they are going with this particular change effort or the strategic change. Just have an idea about first few things. Causes for resistance in the 132. Then they are identifying what kind of things that why the people are resist. Why do they reject this particular change? The first one, diagnosing resistance. Just read on that. Under the diagnosing resistance, read on the second para. Of course, all people who are affected by change experience some emotional turmoil. What does it mean? Yes? What does it mean by that? Once we are going to implement with these strategic changes, these are the reasons that people might be not accepting willingly. Because they might be thinking this is not our comfort zones, it is something different, something new. Then we have to get them trained. So everything might be there, no? So these are some reasons. In this one, they might be try to diagnose why they are resist, why people resist for this particular strategic change. As they mention, all people who are affected by change experience some emotional turmoil. Even changes that appear to be positive or rational involves loss and uncertainty in their mindsets. Understood? Although sometimes we might be communicate them, there is a rationale behind this. Why do we go for the automated system? Assuming something like that. But there is a rationale and there are benefits. Although there are, but people have rejections. They might be thinking, yes, it might be go with the out of their comfort zones. Emotional problems may be coming. The confusions. Okay. So they might be thinking on that. And also they have highlighted, read about the second column. To predict, second para, to predict what form of their resistance might take, managers need to be aware of the 4 most common reasons people resist change. So HBR article is highlighting these are the 4 common reasons why people resist change. Why do they rejecting this change? The first one is these are a desire not to lose something of value, a misunderstanding of the change and its implications, a belief that the change does not make sense for the organization, and a low tolerance for change. What we learn, all those things are included here also. For an example, the misunderstanding of the change, why does it happen? Yes, very good. The communication is not there. The misunderstanding will be happen due to the fact that there might not be proper communication. The employees are not aware. They don't know what might be the benefits out of this. Got the point? So those things are linked with what we learned. And also desire not to lose something of value. What does it mean? They don't willingly go with this change. They might be thinking that this is out of my comfort zone. They might be accustomed or familiar with the manual system. So once they are shifted to the automated system, assuming that is a strategic change, then they might not be willingly adhere to that. Because they know it is a hectic for me because I just want to train on that. Maybe I have to work late nights. Sometimes I have to work on the Saturdays and Sundays. So something like in that they emotionally they might be thinking on these aspects, although there are benefits. Understood? Yes, what do you mean by here the parochial self-interest? That is one thing. And what does mean? Parochial self-interest. That means they are very narrow-minded. They think about on their own. They might not be think about the benefits that they gain for the organization perspective. They only think about what happened to me out of this particular change. Do I need to get them trained? Do I need to work late nights? That means they might be think about their self-interest objectives. Understood? They are limiting to thinking on that, not the benefits that the company can gain. Understood? Read on that one. Parochial self-interest. One major reason people resist organizational change is that they think they will lose something of value as a result. In these cases, because people focus on their own best interest and not on those of the total organization. Resistance often results in politics or political behavior. Understood what I am telling? Parochial self-interest in the sense people might be thinking on benefit of their, not the benefit to the organization as a whole. Okay. So those are the things. Yes, other than that, that is one thing. Just go for the page number 133. Another point or another reason for resistance is the misunderstanding and lack of trust. What does it mean? What we learned? Same thing. People also resist change when they do not understand its implication and perceive that it might cost them much more than they will gain. Such situations often occur when trust is lacking between the person initiating the change and the employees. For an example, we can think that the boss is not familiar with the superior or the peers. The boss is also not familiar with they might not be having close rapport with the peers. Then they think that this is a very giving a revenge for me. So likewise, they might be having misunderstanding and the lack of trust. They don't have any trust between what they are going to do. So those are some problems due to the fact of resistance. Yes, likewise, the different assessment, another 134, they have highlighted in the bolded terms. Second line, different assessments. And also another point, low tolerance for change. The middle column in bold, they have highlighted the low tolerance for change. What it means? People also resist change because they fear they will not be able to develop the new skills and behavior that will be required of them. For example, same thing as we tell ERP system, they think that no, I might not be able to catch up with this automated system. It might be very hectic for me. It might be another burden for me. Understood? So it is not like familiar to them. It is something new. Therefore, they have that kind of the low tolerance for that particular change. Yes, then in the other line, in the third column, they have highlighted how to deal with the resistance. So these are the issues. The reasons are like different assessments of the people, low tolerance and ambiguity. So those are the problems of this particular change happen. Then how to deal with the resistance? The first one is education and communication. What we learned? We have to communicate them and we have to educate them via training. And another one, the 135, page number 135, third para, the participation and involvement. What we learn under that? Yes, participation and involvement. Therefore, that means if they are rejecting, what we can do is we can get them involved. As we discussed in the MBO process, management by objective or as TQM, then we can get their participation. It might be sometimes also because as managers, we also should be tactful enough with these strategic changes. Then we think that yes, getting the involvement of the employees in the decision making process. And third, under that 135, in the middle one it is bolded and highlighted, facilitation and support. We can give them, facilitate, educate them and train them, or else we can tell that no, there is a technical assistant for you for the 3 months period, then you can accustom or the familiar with the system. Thereafter we shifted to the parallelly go for the manual to the automated. Likewise we can communicate, we can give the assistance or the support. So these are the ways, and also the another one, 136, the negotiation and agreement. So there are certain techniques given, and go for the 137, page number 137. It's given an exhibit 2, strategic continuum. Can you all see? In that they have mentioned that two extremes. In the strategic continuum, two extremes are given. The first one is fast and the other one is the slow space. I told you, once we are going with this implementation, sometimes some activities we can go in a fast forward manner. But sometimes we might not be going in a we have to go in a very slow phase. So for an example, they have mentioned if we can go very fast, if we have clearly planned this strategic change, and also little involvement of others, and also attempt to overcome any resistance. That means we have made sure that everything we have planned in advance, we have communicated in advance to all employees, and also we have give them like monetary or non-monetary benefits. So those things are coming under, in that situation we can implement whatever the new change in a fast manner. But if not, what we have to do is we have to go in a very slow level, because if they are not aware, definitely resistance will come, definitely conflicts are coming. Understood what I am telling? If we are not, that means people are not aware about this strategic change, then definitely they will resist. They will be coming conflicts to the managers. This is not workable, that workable, like they might be come up with their own arguments. Therefore, everything we have to plan in advance. Otherwise, what we have to do is, these strategic changes we have to go in a very slow pace. Understood? That is the strategic continuum is highlighting. So just have read this one, because this Harvard Business Review article is highlighted about this, the strategic implementation process. Because if they are going with this particular strategic change, what is the practical scenarios that they have accustomed with this particular organization? Okay, no? Read this one. Read this one. It might, I can't say this is merely come for the examination purpose, but just to have an idea, because we have to, as I mentioned, the first question of the examination paper will be coming from a case study, case scenario. Then you have to analyze the case scenario. Okay? Yes, with this I will stop the lectures because my series is finished. I think then Mahesh will be continuing for the balance 4 or 3 weeks. If you have any questions, we will be able to discuss. Maybe you all have the workshops now. Then you all be ready and come for the question papers, or else any questions that you have. Hopefully myself or Tamara Miss will be doing workshop. If you all have, I don't know exactly, you all have that one. Does it plan in the session schedule? Don't know, no? If you all have that, we can discuss more questions in that. We'll see what will happen. I don't know exactly. Based on, I think, students' request, there will be. Yes. Okay, then thank you very much. Yes, any questions? Online students are there. Any questions? You can raise. Because with this strategic implementation part is finished. I think Mr. Mahesh has completed the evaluation and control. As a whole, now we have completed the strategic management model. Like what we discussed in environmental analysis, strategy formulation, implementation, evaluation and control. Okay, then no question, is it? Okay, then thank you. I'll stop with this.